Hi, I'm Karthik Raman. I'm a faculty at the Department of Data Science and AI at the Vadhwani School of Data Science and AI. I've been at IIT Madras for over 14 years and I've moved to this department since its establishment in 2024. We call ourselves the Computational Systems Biology Lab. So we do a lot of work in the space of computational systems biology, which is basically applying mathematical modeling to understand and manipulate biological systems and networks. And one of the things that has been really fascinating us for the last maybe a decade or so is how microbes interact with each other in different environments. So we look at how microbes interact in environments right from deep sea to outer space. In deep sea, we've been looking at hydrothermal vents and so on with collaborators, and in outer space, we've been working with data sets from NASA, where we've been looking at the International Space Station, and in between, we've been looking at things like the human gut, corals, and so on. So we have like a full spectrum of environments where we've been trying to study how microbes interact with each other in different in different ways, trying to understand these environments better so that it will inform us in terms of disinfecting these environments better, trying to have a better handle on health and disease and so on. So we've been, although the school as it stands today was established about a year and a half ago, we've been working together in the discipline of AI since 2014. We originally started off as the Interdisciplinary Laboratory for Data Sciences, and we also had the Center of IBSE, which was then the Initiative for Biological Systems Engineering, as part of this lab. And we've been working together for the last, more than a decade. And we've been trying to establish this school for a long time, and when it actually came to fruition, we were all really excited. So we have a fantastic interdisciplinary set of faculty who are part of the school. We have faculty from chemical engineering, from computer science, from electrical engineering, all of whom have come together and we are working in this department. And what is most exciting here is that under one roof, we have brought in students from so many different disciplines. And I think this meeting of unlike minds is very important for doing meaningful research in AI today. Right? There is one side of AI which is the theoretical, hardcore AI, mathematical, and so on. And the other side where it is really applied to an exciting domain where you can see impact on the ground. And I think what excites me is the application of AI to certain domains. And the domain of my interest, of course, is biology. Right? And of course, healthcare and so on. But biology as such, when in trying to understand basic microbiology and so on, from a lens of data science, I think it's something, it's fantastic to see what we can do there. Yeah, so a typical day at WSAI involves a lot of meetings, right? But these are, meetings may not sound good, but these are usually, very interesting student meetings, a few research seminars and so on. So typically a lot of time is gone in discussing ideas with students, right? And giving them feedback on what are the experiments that they have done. These are not like lab experiments per se, but more of, computational experiments and so on, where they have done some studies and they have some results, and we try to interpret those results and see what else we can do. How do we innovate in like the algorithms? How do we do new things and so on. And we also have, once a week we have group meetings where students present their progress and discuss the roadblocks that they are facing. They may present journal club papers and so on, wherein they talk about the most recent research that they have been reading and so on. So this is part and parcel of our day. And of course, we all, during the semester is not yet on, but during the semester we have a teaching where we get to interact with both the undergrads and also MS PhD students as we teach them basic core courses or graduate level electives and so on. Yeah, so this is always a challenge, right? So I think there are memes and cartoons about how what faculty actually think they are doing, and maybe I should ask my students what they think I'm really doing. But I like to think that most of my day is gone in research, wherein, of course, if you subtract out the email part, so most of the day is gone in research, wherein I discuss with students and so on. But we also have a few important administrative meetings Some of these are, not as boring as they sound, because a lot of them involve plotting the course or the trajectory for a research center, for planning new grants, planning new collaborations, and so on. So there is a bit of research element to all of that. And I think the last few years have been fantastic in terms of the kind of secretarial support that we are getting here at WSAI. And that has made it really unique, because we now have the ability to really not worry about the small nitty-gritties. Things just work around you, and you can focus on the stuff that you really want to do, which is basically your research and teaching. Right. And of course, we also spend quite a bit of time talking to the undergrad students, talking to students, understanding a little bit more about their interests, mentoring students, and so on. This is something we really don't stop to think about, but that happens very automatically during the course of any given day, for that matter. Yeah. So I think my most favorite part of the week is probably one exciting research meeting that's going to be there, right? So many of them are going to be like mostly updates and so on, but there'll be a couple of meetings wherein you really discuss new ideas and you really figure out some cool stuff, or you have that aha moment when you figure out why your code is not working or why your idea is not working, and so on. So you try to really, these are the things that you really work for. You want to make sure that you're able to solve very difficult problems and so on. And this requires going at it for a long time, right? So I don't think you'll have an exciting day every week, but maybe after months that you've been on a problem, you have that one aha moment that you've like really figured out something that really works in the space. Yeah, so this is really simple. I think the one piece of advice is have an open mind. I really think that, and I can say this better than most people, simply because I'm sure most of the people who are watching this video probably are interested in AI, interested in mathematics, and hate biology. Right? And in India, you typically end up making a choice, and not just in India, in most places, where you hate biology, so you do math, or you hate math, so you do biology. Whereas in my lab, if you want to work, you need to be good at math and definitely have an interest in biology. And biology turns out to be far more exciting and interesting than it's ever made out to be in school. So I think the one thing that people should have is an open mind. You need to really dig deeper into a field to really figure out if that field is of your interest. It just don't go by a superficial look at the field that you can get in your school or like from a single book or something like that. And to have these, this kind of a domain knowledge becomes very important if you're an interdisciplinary scientist. Right? I work very closely with various interdisciplinary folks. I work with computer scientists. I work with chemical engineers, and I can say for a fact that a lot of our work could not have been possible but for these collaborations. Right? So we bring in a particular angle, and my collaborator will bring in a very different angle from, say, systems theory. Chemical engineer brings in systems theory and applies it to biology. This makes it so unique, and we have some very exciting papers on that front. Or we have like a simple idea on applying graph theory to chemical molecules, but then we really don't have the data structures that can help you pull this off. And I need to work with computer scientists who can do that. So these kinds of combinations are really important, and it's great when students pick up multiple skills as a part of this. So I've had students time and again who built up a big variety of skills, and I've had people, applauding them, saying that, hey, these are things typically done in collaborations, but a single student has done it. Right? So this is what every student should aspire to become. Try to become, as one of my professors would say, jack of all trades and master of some. Well, I think one thing that people don't know as of what we do as faculty members is we do have a lot of fun, right? And we have some really this is probably something I should have mentioned in the other context. The departmental meetings are something which we really look forward to, because there's a lot of banter and a lot of fun in these department meetings. And it really improves the bonding that we have in a department as we go on to larger challenges. That said, I think jokes apart, the serious aspect of being at WSI is the kind of ecosystem that is there here. Right? From the kind of different research centers that are there, from the kind of students that come into this place, and I think most importantly, the kind of staff you get to interact with at this place. This makes a difference for the kind of center that we are, and we want to be, and we aspire to be. So another less known fact about WSI is this beautiful view we have from our department. And so you can see this wonderful view of Chennai, Guindy Park and IIT Madras, where you see the drop tower, the academic complex, the older academic complex, which is now called the Krishna Chilkula block, and the rest of fantastic greenery in the middle of a very busy metropolis.